Won't budge on their asking price for franchise cornerstone Deshaun Watson. The latest reports indicate he'll be staying in Houston despite varying levels of interest from Miami, Philly, and Carolina in the past month. So, Shannon, how surprised are you that he reportedly won't be traded by tomorrow's deadline?
I'm surprised, and the Texans should deal him. Skip, Carolina could come in and say, we're going to give you 4 first-rounders. But the Texans don't have the leverage. Deshaun does because he have no trade.
And hasn't he pretty much made it clear, I don't want to go there?
Miami. So, and it seems like, well, you do this, you do that. At the end of the day, Deshaun is going to determine how much value you're going to get because he's only going to go to a team that he wants to play for.
So I told you last week, I felt like there were too many monumental variables still hanging over the head of everybody involved here to get this resolved before the trade deadline. And it just feels like with the 22 civil cases and obviously the Houston police having interviewed 10 of the accusers, it's so much that's undone yet. The league has not reacted yet. The league is waiting. So I think we just have to wait and let the legal situation play itself out.
We don't know how long that's going to be, right? It could be a while. That is it for Undisputed, guys. Good stuff today. I know we'll be back with plenty more tomorrow. The Herd is on now.
Oh, win those Saints.
In October on Fox. Also, though, yesterday, and this was a bummer, Jameis Winston went down early in the game last night, and the Saints are bracing for the possibility that it could be a season-ending injury. Third stringer Trevor Siemian finished the game since Taysom Hill is still recovering from a concussion, and Twitter immediately started calling for Sean Payton to bring in Cam Newton instead. So, Shannon, should the Saints sign Cam?
I think they'll definitely bring him in. Skip, I mean, Sean Payton played against Cam Newton. They were in the same division for a decade. So he saw him at least twice a year for a decade. So if anybody knows what Cam Newton is capable of doing, it'd probably be Sean Payton. I would definitely bring him in, put him through a workout. Like I said, we just talked about this earlier, Skip. Teams like to, guys that they have on their roster that's been in their system, they like to go in that direction first. It's hard. Quarterback is not a position. You can bring any other position, bring him in a week, Skip, put him out there and he can play. Offensive line, defensive line, wide receiver, it doesn't matter.
We've been seeing it all year.
All year.
Throw them in there.
Quarterbacks are not like
Richard Sherman just comes in and plays.
It starts. The man gets off his couch on a Wednesday and starting on a Sunday night.
He did.
Quarterbacks are not like that, Skip. That is too much of a mental game. There's too much of a thought process that goes on where you have to know protections, that you got to know where you need to go with the football. And it's hard for you to, it's hard for them to simplify a guy, simplify an offense for a guy that's never been there. I can simplify it for Trevor Siemian because he know our basic terminology. So I can get it down and say, okay, Trevor, this is what we wanted to do. But I don't know how you do that for a guy that's never heard your system, heard your verbiage before. But I would definitely bring Cam Newton in, see where he is, and if it's something, because, Skip, look, they got a defense. They got a championship caliber defense. They got a playoff caliber defense.
No doubt.
I don't know if Trevor Siemian, even with the defense that good, because they had defenses good when he was in Denver, Von Miller was at his apex back then. I don't know, Skip, if Trevor Siemian is enough to get you to where you want to be. But I would definitely bring Cam in. Now, I'm not just signing Cam just to sign him, because Cam has said now, remember, Skip, he did an interview and says, I would have been willing to be a backup. Cam would probably have to come in and be a backup for at bare minimum, what do you think, a week or 2, maybe 3 weeks? And if things are not going well before he gets an opportunity to play, and if that's something that, Skip, you put all the cards on the table. Okay, Cam, what are you looking for? Would you be okay being a backup? What if Siemian plays well and you don't get an opportunity to play? Are you going to be okay with that? So, Skip, I just need to be honest with him, Skip. I'm not going to bring him in there on false pretenses and say, don't promise him things that I know that I'm not going to deliver or I can't deliver. I'm going to be upfront with Cam. Cam, are you okay if Trevor plays well and you don't get to play your backup? Or is it that you're coming in here with the anticipation that you're going to start? Because I don't know if that's going to happen, but this is what we can offer you.
Okay, so Josina Anderson has reported that at this moment, New Orleans not interested in Cam. That does not mean that later this week. Yeah, I agree. I believe in Cam Newton. I believed in him when he was drafted. I believed in him at Blinn Junior College. I believed in him at Auburn. I believed in him early last year at New England before he got COVID, which just derailed him. And I think he got hit pretty hard by COVID, and I don't think he ever quite got back on his feet.
Right.
But when we saw him early, when we saw him that Sunday night at Seattle, he looked like MVP Cam to me. And I don't doubt that he still has that capability in him. So that's why I campaigned for Jerry Jones to go get him, because he's so much better than Cooper Rush. I was proven wrong. I ate my own crow last night, some cowboy crow, because Cooper Rush was, as you said, pretty good.
Right.
He was certainly good enough to win that game. And to your point, it wasn't like he threw for 117 yards. He threw for 325.
Right. And 2 touchdowns.
And 2 touchdowns, and he threw the game-winning touchdown pass when I least expected it at 1st and goal at the 5. He just said, I audible to you because you're single against the guy they just called up from the practice squad. Touchdown.
That tells you everything you need to know. That they're willing to allow him to audible and put the ball in his hands.
He was in command. I have no quarrel with any of it.
Right.
He was some hit and miss. He had the 2 turnovers, but he won the football game going away in grand fashion, and I will have no doubt that if they start him again, he'll play pretty well.
Yeah.
But can you go win the Super Bowl? No, you can't.
No, you're not winning the Super Bowl with Cooper Rush.
Can you win the first playoff game with Cooper Rush? You might make the playoffs with Cooper Rush after you got to 6-1. You might.
It might be a matchup. Who are you matched up with? You get the Rams. You're not beating the Rams with Cooper Rush. You get the Bucs. You're not beating the Bucs with Cooper Rush.
Okay, but if Cam had been the Cowboy backup and he had started last night, I believe they would have won the game with Cam Newton just as well. And if, God forbid, I'm going to knock on this wood over here, if Dak were lost for the year, if Cam went forward, I would still give them a chance to go far in the playoffs with this defense and this wide receiver group and this running game. With Cam at quarterback, I would like my chances.
He'll be added to your running game because now the 35, 40 yards that he gets added to what Zeke and Pollard's going to give you.
Okay, so he has proclaimed on social media that he did get vaccinated, so that's no longer an issue. You can't hold that against him. He's not going to threaten your team because, or the COVID protocol because he's unvaccinated.
I just wish Cam had done this in the offseason.
I got it. It would have changed life. It changed his life, changed everybody. I wish he'd done it going back to last year. But here we go.
You know, but it just became available, March, April, March, April of this year.
I got it. I just wish he hadn't gotten COVID last year because it might have been a whole different story.
I believe they'd have made the playoffs.
Okay, so now we look at New Orleans quarterback room. It's pretty stacked because he had Trevor Siemian last year, so he indoctrinated him into the system. He got comfortable with him, and Trevor got comfortable, and he's a Northwestern guy. And
he's a smart guy.
Okay, we got it.
That's why he beat the Michigan guy. You know, them Northwestern guys, they're real smart, Skip.
I guess that's what it was.
They smarter than them guys at Vanderbilt, too.
Northwestern.
They smarter than the guys. Northwestern might be a better school than Vanderbilt.
Stop it.
They might skip. I'm just saying, Skip.
Did you see what Dansby Swanson did the other night? Did you see that? Did you see the post-game interview? It was the greatest post-game interview in the history of professional baseball by Dansby Swanson, the first pick in the draft out of Vanderbilt. Thank you for allowing me to say that.
Exactly.
Hit the game-tying home run. Unfortunately, they lost last night. We'll see what happens now tomorrow. Next couple.
Yep.
Okay, so stacked quarterback room because you got Trevor and he's ready to go and he played pretty well. He wasn't great, but he was good enough, and you think you go forward with him. Well, guess who's coming out of concussion? Okay, so he loves Taysom Hill, so he may go back to Taysom Hill as the starting quarterback next time.
But I feel comfortable in saying Trevor Siemian better than Taysom Hill at quarterback. All
right, so we got, but that's 6 of one, half dozen of the other because one's an athlete who can run the ball some. Okay, and you got that Ian Book kid they took in the 4th round out of Notre Dame, and I liked him a lot at Notre Dame. I think he's pretty good. And he seems like a Sean Payton kind of guy. He's got a little fire and brimstone to him.
So that's 3 guys.
Okay, so you got 3. So I just don't know if it's going to be a fit for Cam. Okay, so now what's the issue with Cam going forward? Well, listen, Cam Newton is going to do Cam Newton. Whether you like it or not, he is who he is and has always been, and that's why I respect him. He just does what he does. He's going to be a prominent on social media. He's going to have an impact on social media. And he's going to have an impact on your practice and on your team. He's going to take over. Well, I love that because Dak wouldn't be threatened by that. I thought he'd make my team a little livelier. I think he'd bring up all the spirit in practice. You know, I liked him at the he was changing that old Patriot way. He was making it more fun to be a Patriot once Brady had gone.
I don't know if you heard this, but Phillip Rivers' season is over in high school football. Said he might be interested in the right situation.
Okay.
Would you
Man, I don't know. I'd still take Cam.
You take Cam? Okay.
I would. I just would. I don't know. How old's Phillip now? Is he 40-ish?
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
I don't know.
I mean, he probably want to get away. He got 9 kids, Skip.
Yeah.